So in the intro video, you saw me blending all of these, or food processing, frozen blueberries and the frozen raspberries. And the reason I did that was to separate the seeds from the rest of the fruit. What these are some blueberries that we had left over from one of our snack packs that we make throughout the week, or that Kelly makes for us throughout the week. And so I had a couple that had gotten a little soft, very ripe. And hey, bub. So anyway, what I wanted to do was freeze them. And so they've been in the freezer since January, maybe early February. Basically right about 90 days is what it comes out to be. And so I did that just to simulate a winter, being overwintered, and hopefully get them to decide that it's time to germinate once they get into some potting mix, or just some seed starting mix and a little bit of warmth. So what I'm going to do is take my strainer, my Save strainer from the coffee pot. It's really fine, so it shouldn't lose any of the blueberry seeds. My one concern is that there's a lot of solids in here, so probably should let it settle out some, but I'm not going to. We're going to rinse it out, and then what I'm going to do is put it on the coffee filter like we did with the tomato seeds. All right, so I've got some raspberries and some blueberries that I'm trying to save. Let's see if we can do this. You can see where this has separated and the seeds are down at the bottom. So I'm going to try and pour this off really carefully and hopefully end up with just a little bit of seed at the bottom. Alright, so these are the raspberry seeds. I poured off most all of the really, like the pulp, I guess would be the best word. But you can see I got all these seeds. These are all the ones that sank to the bottom. So what we're going to do now is take our handy dandy strainer that we used during the tomato one. I'm going to do is rinse them off really well. Try and get as much of that excess sugar and stuff like that off of there as we can. Because that'll mold really easily. We don't want that. So I'm just using cold water. Seems to be working pretty well. These things are pretty well cleaned off. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of empty it out onto a paper towel, I think. Maybe go find a coffee filter, empty it out, let it dry for a little bit, and then plant some of these. I've got a lot of seeds in here. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't know. Got a lot of seeds in here. I don't want that many raspberry plants, but I don't know what the percent germination rate is going to be. So I may divide this up into, 12 cells in my start tray and just thin them back to 1 or 2 in each one, and maybe try to divide them. Maybe just thin them back to 1, because I don't know how well. Oh, well, they should divide really well. Blackberries and raspberries and stuff like that divide pretty easily. They're pretty tough plants, so probably just do that and divide them up and put them into pots, and then plant them out into a couple rows in the springtime. So, all right, guys. So Back in the pub, wanted to kind of catch you up on what's going on here with the gardening. And so I'm going to do some seed starts. A lot of these I don't normally start in trays. Just kind of want to see how it compares to the number of plants I got last year. At least, you know, just looking at it, I didn't keep numbers per se for the amount of seeds that germinated compared to the ones I planted. But I just kind of want to be able to start tracking that. And so what I'm going to do is put them in this, I think this is a 72 seed starter. Most all of these I planned on. There's another Bob. Hey, Bob. You going to help us do some planting? He's really good at digging in dirt anyway. Well, I think that's usually because he thinks it's his litter box. But, so anyway, back to the plants. So these are the ones I want to plant. I planned on putting them out May 1st anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and get them started. That way I can kind of follow along and do some videos and keep some numbers as far as germination rates and the plants that seem to be the strongest, and I can kind of select a little bit better that way. Maybe use fewer seeds. So here's what we got going on. These two cucumbers. This Jabai, I can't really pronounce it. I believe it's a Japanese variety. It's from Baker Creek. The Armenian Yardlong is also from Baker Creek. It says cucumber, but my understanding is it's actually a melon of types. And so these other seed packets all came from the Dollar General right up the road. I have really good luck with their seeds. They have a very limited selection, but if you do have a small budget, they're good, especially for just a small garden. You know, 2 for $1 for this Clemson spineless okra. And 4 for $1 for the Market More cucumber, 2 for $1 on the Muncher cucumber, and then they had some Waltham butternut, and that was 4 for $1. So they're really cheap, and I have had really good luck with germination rates. I don't have specific numbers, but generally speaking, 90 to 95% germination rate, which is pretty high. Doing some research, these are American Seed, and they are the same company that supplies seeds for Ferry Morse and some other big box store seeds. I'm imagining that they supply for a lot of other people too. So they're good quality seeds. The dates on them are all, you know, this year, so to sell by 12/22. I obviously don't know when they packaged them, but like I said, I've had really good luck with them. So we're going to do this. There's another experiment that I have that I'm going to include in this video that has to do with getting blueberry seeds from blueberries from the store. So we're going to try that, and I'll follow that. So here in the pub, it's April 9th, and normally we have late frost, 1 or 2 nights that are really cold. That seems to be this weekend. We're dropping down into, last night I think was 37 degrees, tonight's supposed to be 34 degrees. So I didn't have any frost this morning outside, although I don't have a whole lot of plants out there that aren't frost hardy. Kind of concerned, mainly because we've had warmer weather, 60, 70, so they're not used to it. Big opportunity for damage, and if nothing else, stunting their growth. So anyway, in anticipation that we'll continue to have a couple of weird cold days over the next couple weeks, that's why I'm doing this. And we'll go from there. But that's why I'm here in the pub instead of out in the shed. All right, so after quite the battle, I have gotten what I think are most all of the seeds. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. These are the blueberry seeds, and they are super tiny. I'm really glad I had that strainer because, you know, that is just, that's a single one. So, you know, I don't have a seed handy really, but just to compare it to, these are the raspberry seeds, and you can see it's a huge difference. I don't know, like probably 10 times. The raspberry seed's probably 10 times the size of a single one of these little blueberry seeds. The other method I wanted to try with the blueberries was slicing them and putting them into the dirt. However, in doing the tomato seed saving experiment, kind of found that the ones, at least with that, let's get some focus here. The ones that have that were separated germinated faster with a higher rate. So that's why I went ahead and did this. It really wasn't that bad of a to get it separated. It was just, there were several steps involved. I had to get a couple different sizes of strainer, and then getting these tiny seeds out of the strainer and onto this was really not difficult, but it took some finesse. I'm not much of a finesse person, more of a grab big hammer smash kind of guy, and it wasn't working. So I had to scrape it out and go that way. But so far I'm pretty happy. What we're gonna do is put them in our tray here. I've got the one labeled with raspberry experiment, and then these two will be blueberry. So it'll be 2 blueberry, 2 raspberry. And then I also added a dark opal basil. I was looking through my other starts, and I didn't have any of those started yet, and I really enjoy it. It's got a nice anise flavor. It's pretty sweet. It's got a really nice smell, and they make really pretty flowers once they start flowering. And then we have the squash, the muncher cuke, the munch more cuke, the Japanese cucumber, the Armenian yardlong, and then I have 2 rows of okra that'll go out in the garden once they start coming up. So anyway, guys, really appreciate you watching the videos. Would really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Keep following along. I've been doing a lot of shorts with Poppy Cat. She's got some pretty funny mannerisms and stuff that she does. So anyway, really appreciate you guys watching. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks.